There it is. That's what we're making. It is flat delicious. Wait till you try this one. Well, hello and welcome back to my kitchen. This is Texas Cooking Today. I'm S.A.Trotter, and today we're going to be making a very, very good tasting, actually wonderful tasting dish. This is known by a whole myriad of names. SOS, which is an acronym, it means shit on a shingle. All right. Also, it's known as creamed beef. Okay, so great dish, great flavor. As far as I know, this started with the military. Okay, Dad wanted Mom to make it because he had had it in the military. He was in the Air Force, and so she learned how to make it, and I learned from her. All right, this is creamed beef, and it's similar to the way they make it in the military. Sometimes in the military, they will cook sausage or bacon in a pan and then use those drippings as the fat to make this very recipe. Today we're going to be using butter instead for this recipe. So that way we keep it kind of as an all beef thing. It's all related in the same way. So come over, take a look at these ingredients. They're very simple. We're going to get started making some very, very delicious food, and that is creamed beef. Come on over. All right, the ingredients for our creamed beef, or SOS if you prefer, goes as follows. We're going to be making a cream gravy, and that involves cream. This is heavy whipping cream, okay? I have 1 pint. This dish usually takes anywhere from a half a cup to a pint. I've also got some butter in here. We have some dried beef right here. Now this dish can be used with like old roast beef or some old barbecue, anything you want to use up. But I think this is the way to go. This is a dried salted beef that's commonly used on sandwiches or other dishes, and you'll see it on the shelf right next to other canned meats. I have here some flour and a little bit of salt that I'm going to be using in this dish also. So as you see, simple ingredients, makes for a delicious dish though. Now, one thing I need to mention, I don't just throw this stuff in there. This is called creamed beef, also called chipped beef. And what it is it's just small pieces of beef that we put down in gravy. And so how you cut it, kind of up to you. I just do thin little strips like this, all through it. Okay, and then I'll take the whole thing. I'll just turn the board, how's that? And then on a bias, here we go, just like that. I think I'll cut my little chips. Okay, chipped beef, neat, right there. So that is what we're going to be adding to our gravy. But first, before we put this in, we need to create a beautiful, delicious cream gravy. In my pan here, I have got a flame underneath it. That's a medium-low flame, and I'm going to be melting this butter. And when that happens, take my flour, put it in there, and whisk the two together. Now here's the thing. When I'm doing a roux, and that's what this is, when you put flour into a fat and cook them together, we call that a roux. That's kind of a French word, but it doesn't really matter. What matters is this. This needs to cook for a little bit. This has a flour flavor. Why? Well, because it's flour. And once this cooks, it kind of cooks that raw flour taste out of it. And you don't notice the flour in it at all. So that's why we cook it. Now, how long do you cook it? That kind of stuff. Now, if you'll notice, I use a lot of fat when I do a roux. That's because I do a loose roux, not a pasty roux. Different chefs are different on this, okay? I like it this way because it's easy to control and you get a good even cook on the flour. Very nice to do. This, once I get the flour in, it will foam up and it will fall and foam up and fall, and it'll do that several times as it's cooking. And it only has to cook for about 3 to 4 minutes. When it turns the color of a light tan, kind of a color of peanut, then it's ready for the milk to go in it, or the cream in this case, to make a beautiful cream gravy. Alrighty, now my butter is melted. It's sizzling just a little bit, so I'm going to get my flour in there. I'm going to lower that temperature just a little bit. There we go. I just want to make sure that flour is fully combined. Now, Here's where we cook it. Here's where it does what I was telling you. It kind of rises up and falls, and it goes through this cooking process. And what it's doing here is it's just evenly cooking the flour, all right? Nothing more. But this process versus making a real pasty roux allows you to make the gravy faster. A pasty roux, you slowly add cream to it and it thins it, and then you add a little more and thin it more and add a little more. With this method, you don't have to do that. You mix the two together, whisk them well, bring it back up in temperature, and boom, you've got gravy. We'll look at that in just a moment. We're going to take a look at this once it has cooked for just a couple of minutes, and we can see what it looks like. Alrighty, let's take a look at this. Now it's cooked for a few minutes. Look at that, there's our tan color. That foaming has stopped. This right here is ready for us to make cream gravy. Now I want to take a part of my cream, about a cup to a cup and a quarter. Pour it in there, whisk those two together. All right, now over that medium-low temperature, we're going to bring it right back up to a simmer. And as that happens, this is going to thicken. As it thickens, I'll add a little more cream to thin it. And then once we get the right texture, we're going to taste it, add salt, and also our chipped beef. Now our gravy has thickened up really nice. I added a little bit more cream to this. Now let's go ahead, get our beef in here. Oh yeah. There we have it. Now I'm going to let this just sit over a warm burner. I don't want it to get too hot, okay? I just want it to stay hot, and for the flavor of that chipped beef to just break out into that cream sauce. All right, and when it does that, it really takes on the flavor beautifully. So just give it a little bit of time. It's going to need a lid to cover it. Here we go. It's getting quite thick, so adding a little bit more cream. I only have about a quarter of a cup of cream left, so we've gone through almost the whole pint. Isn't that beautiful looking? Right there. All right, let's take a look at it. See, it has thickened up again, just a little more. And that's perfect, because now I can put in just the rest of that cream. Isn't that beautiful how that's come out? Oh, yes. So there you have it, folks. Beautiful creamed beef. Now, it's going to set up, like I said, it's going to take on those flavors, and it's going to be delicious. But remember, anytime you cook something, you need to taste it. Taste it. Does it need salt? Does that need salt? Only the tiniest pinch. There we go. It just needs a few minutes to finish developing, and it's ready to go on top of biscuits. The quantity of everything that I have used in this cream beef today, well, let's start right back here. That was a quarter cup of butter. I just cut 4 tablespoons of butter. Now to that, I made a roux using just a little more than 1/8 of a cup of flour. This would be a heaping 1/8 of a cup, or a little less than, a little more than half of a quarter cup, which is what this is. This is a quarter cup measurer. Now, it's a pinch of salt, roughly 1/4 teaspoon to a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. It will depend on the meat you use, and this is a really salty meat, and it can affect it. I used 2 ounces of this dried beef, and it's, like I said, it's quite salty. Taste it first, judge it that way. 1.5 to 2 cups of heavy cream, and it makes for one delicious dish. Now, let's take a look at the final product and get it on some biscuits. Yummy. All right, we have biscuits. We've got our creamed beef. It's time to go ahead and put this dish together, because I am hungry and I know this is delicious. Big, beautiful, look at these biscuits. You want to learn how to do biscuits like this? Super fluffy, flaky, coming apart like that biscuits? You watch my biscuit video. It's going to show you how to do that. Oh yeah. That, ladies and gentlemen, that right there, that is creamed beef. Oh my goodness, delicious on the plate. Oh yes. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been eating this since I was a boy. And it's still just as good today. When you try it, you're gonna fall in love. This is flat delicious. Enjoy it for breakfast or dinner, whichever you prefer. Just enjoy this recipe. Thank you for watching. Please look right underneath here, description box. Find my links for my website. That's where I have the recipes for this and a lot of other stuff. Please take a look at my website. My recipes are really worth it. They are very well written. Lots of pages, lots of color plates showing you how to do the right thing. Thank you for watching this. Please give me a thumbs up. Comment down below if you would. If you haven't subscribed, I don't understand why not. Please do so and tell your friends about this. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your creamed beef.